Hey guys, and welcome back to the How to Animate YouTube channel. And in this video we're going to be carrying on with this animation and getting it out of stepped mode. I apologise for the lack of videos lately, I've been very busy with my students. If you guys have been following this series, you know I got up to about here I think. So I decided to change this stab to this and then had a flip back. Oh, I've also added these little guys, very rough. I thought it might be nice for her to actually be fighting something. So the plan with these guys is what I'm going to try to do when I actually come to animate them. I kind of want them to be cut in half, these two here, so as she comes down she slices down. What I'm going to do is build a custom rig and basically switch from this rig to a custom rig that can be split apart. I'm going to give that a go, but for now I'm just going to be concentrating on her, getting her animation done, and then I'll go in and actually animate these guys properly. Okay, so I think I've got enough poses here to actually go in and do a timing pass on this. So at the moment, although it says 30 frames per second here, I'm actually playing at 10, so I'm just going to open up the options here and set this back to 30. Okay, so when I play this now it should be super quick. So basically we need to rework this animation and fill in all these gaps so it actually plays at this frame rate nice and smoothly. So for now I'm just going to be concentrating on her, so I'm going to get rid of these little guys. I'll animate them afterwards depending on her timings. I don't really want to have to do both at the same time, so I'm just going to dereference these for now just to get them out of the scene. Okay, brilliant. Right, so timing pass. So with this, it's a case of selecting everything on the character. I'm just going to go through the first bit and just make sure there's a key on every frame. Cool. So we've got this anticipation here. Comes around. So I'd imagine this would be around about 15 frames. I'm just going to give myself a little bit of space on the timeline. Okay, space this across to 15. Okay, I'm just going to stretch these across as well. Okay, that looks pretty good. I don't think we need that key there. Cool, not too bad. Okay, so let me just play that. Yep, that's going to work. Right, so next we have the actual strike. So we build up all this momentum. Okay, and then we start to strike through. So we want a bit of a slow in, or an ease in, which basically means we add a few more frames to the start of this strike. So you want, the timings you want are slow, fast, and slow again. Right, through. So the actual strike itself is probably... Okay, let's add just another couple of frames for the strike, just coming through. Okay, and here as well. Comes through. Okay, now we want a slow out. Okay, so I did a frame here and a frame here to be able to actually stretch this out like so. So we get slow, 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 fast, slow. Okay, and this is a slow out. Okay, I'm just going to change this to auto. Great, that needs a bit of tidying up, but that's going to work. Great, now we've got this really fast drag down. Let's have a look. Okay, so I do want this pretty quick. I do think we need just another frame here, just to pad out the front. Okay, so something like that would be good. Okay, I'm going to put another frame in towards the bottom of this arc here. Maybe another frame here, just to smooth it out. Okay, let's play it. Okay, you see the way it's way too quick during this section here, so we do need just to add a few more frames for this jump. Okay, and at the top of the apex as well, we probably want to leave a little bit more time, so maybe just a couple of frames just for the hang time. Okay, so between here and here, that's a massive change of shape, so we are going to need another key there. pretty quick, so come round. Okay, give that another frame at the bottom. This is just feeling out timings at the moment. None of this is set in stone. You can always adjust this afterwards, but you just need to start going through. And it doesn't matter if these in-betweens are messy, all this is going to have to be tidied up anyway, but just go through and start spacing out everything. Okay, so here's the animation with the timing pass. So as you can see, it's starting to look a bit smoother. It still needs a lot of work, a lot of cleanup, and we need to start offsetting a lot of stuff as well. But you know, it's a good base to work from. So what I like to do from here, so I don't get overwhelmed, is just break this down into sections and then work on. Alright, so with this first strike, this is all quite nice how it is. Open up the graph editor and just have a look at her translate Y. Okay, this is a up and down motion. So you generally like to start when polishing with this curve here, because this is where a lot of the weight comes from. Okay, so I think she just needs to come down a little bit more. It needs to be a bit more like this shape. Okay, and just raise her up a bit more during that part. Okay, so with this strike as well, just going to make it a little bit lower and just smooth out this bottom part. Okay, so we want a nice arc on the hips coming through. So with this bit, as she kind of holds, I kind of want her to keep moving up a little bit more. I'm just going to raise this key up here and then just modify this tangent so it's a bit more like this. So at this point she's knocked the little guy up into the air, and she'll probably be looking up at this point. So once he's in, I'll be able to judge exactly where she's looking, so I'll just leave the head for now. Okay, so let's have a look at this strike coming through. So as you see, because these arms are kind of parented to world space, these arms need quite a lot of cleaning up, just to make sure this edge alignment of the cut coming through is correct. So I'm going to look at it from more of a front angle. Okay, I'll probably have to key every frame just to make sure it's coming through on the same arc. Okay, so as you can see, this cut is starting to look a lot better. So we're following that line of action all the way through. I've broken the elbow a little bit here just to get a little bit more of a whip action on this strike. Let's get a little bit more power into it. Okay, so if we have a look at this foot here, we've got an interesting thing happening because it raises up and then it's kind of still. So during this, I just want it to keep raising up like so. So it kind of hits a point at 24, say, keeps going up. So I'm just going to flatten out the end here. Okay, so we want a nice slow out of all the body parts as well. I'm going to have a look at her main hip rotation. So the side to side, which is rotate Y. Okay, this is quite an important curve, because this is basically, if you're going to do side to side strikes, this is basically where all the power comes from. So you want to make sure this is nice and smooth and doing what it's supposed to be doing. So all these keys here we don't need. So what we're looking for is this kind of pattern. So it goes slow, and you see how stretched out, how many frames are here. This is a slow out. Okay, so we're forcing this tangent line up a bit more so we get more frames here, because she's winding up as she comes back. So she's winding up in this direction here. Okay guys, so a bit of work. I got this part up to first pass. So I'm not too keen on this now. I might actually change this later on to be more of a jump up in the air and then land, but for now it will do. It really depends on how long that enemy she hits up in the air is actually in the air for. Because although she's in balance, she wouldn't be able to hold it for too long in this position. So I might come back later and change this. So moving forward, just going to go on to the next bit. Okay, so we've got this really fast strike down into this, so I'll clean up until this point. Okay, so let's have a look at what's going on here. Right, so we've got some funky stuff with the arms during this part, so I definitely need to work on this in between here. Okay, this is all still working quite well. Okay, this doesn't need too much work. It's mostly in the arms. Okay, I've gone ahead and cleaned up that section now, so this is what the whole animation is looking like. Okay, so this is working a little bit better now. So basically I made the cut basically scrape along the floor a little bit. That kind of gave me a little bit of room to get her around like so. Let's get quite low, but it flows quite well. Needs a little bit more work, but not too bad. So now it's just this end part that needs a bit of polish. So I'm just going to scrub through so you can see what's happening here. So main problem with this is offsetting is needed for the arms coming down, and I would imagine that the Y curve also needs a bit of work. So you see we've got, this is the up and down curve here. So I want to allow a little bit more time just to settle down below here, so something like that would work better. Okay, and then we've got sort of hopping back and then coming through. I think we need to just smooth out the translate Z curve, which is the forward motion here. See, as she comes down, you track her hips. She kind of pauses here and then continues. So I kind of want her just to keep moving forward and come to a gradual stop. So I want more of this kind of shape. Okay, so it kind of flattens out towards the end. Okay, I think it would be nice to add a bit of overshoot as well. So as you can see here, the curve comes up, and we've got an overshoot here. Just going to add a key here as well, just to define it a little bit more. Okay, so we need to actually offset some of this. So I'm just going to grab everything on the upper body here. Okay, I'm just going to shift it along a little bit by a couple of frames. And I'm also just going to add another in between here for these elbow joints. Okay, so I'm just going to rotate these back on themselves. Okay, and then at this point I'm going to offset them as well. So just going to move that along. So this upper body here, still think comes down a bit too soon. So just move that along. These feet need to be a little bit more accurate. So as you can see here, they kind of float up. So ideally I'd want to keep this foot on the floor a little bit longer. So I think this ends a bit abruptly as well. We just literally got a down position and then it kind of dies. So what I'd like to do is just add a bit of up and down to finish. Just so we can get a little bit of extra movement for the settle. Okay, so I'm just going to go in. So we're going to do down, up, slight down, and then slight up again. Okay guys, so here's the second pass of this. So everything's spaced out as it should be. It still needs quite a bit of work to polish, but I'm going to go ahead and in the next video start animating the enemies coming in and then return back to her to get her up to final. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.